Welcome back, Chips, to the channel for this week's video. Obviously, the second video of my upload for this week, because a bit of a weird schedule from last week. But I've finally been able to sit down with my mate Con and just talk about the Pokémon Presents from a couple of weeks ago. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and obviously check me out on Twitch every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 6:30 PM GMT as well. So thank you for sitting down with me, dude. Finally, obviously, yesterday, last week was a bit hectic, so with civil service and stuff. But I kind of just wanted to sit down with you, and because you're the reason that I'm into Pokemon as much as I am, so I kind of wanted to get your kind of perspective on what you thought of the Pokemon Presents, basically, and obviously just have a discussion about that, really. So kind of what were your thoughts on the Gen 4 remakes to start with, at least?
There's obviously a very difference between like the initial and my vision on it now. Yeah. So I'll start off by saying that I'm still not too big of a fan on the chibi style approach that they're going for. But I think that it's not really growing on me, but I'm more accepting of it now. Yeah, I think I am as well. I'm more of like, I'll take what we're given, but I'll try my best, and like I'll have to experience it first. So that's my sort of thoughts on that. What's your thoughts on the evolution, the Mega Evolutions coming back into it? Because that got confirmed recently. Is it confirmed though? I'm pretty sure I've seen videos to say that it has been confirmed that they are back into it. But if I'm wrong, and it was to eventually be the case, would you be accepting of the fact that Megas are back in it? Because obviously so many people have been asking for that for ages now. I'm gonna be honest, I'd actually want Megas to be in it more than not. Yeah. Just because out of like all of the mechanics that they've added, like Mega Evolution, Z moves, all of that stuff, like Gigantamax, Mega's probably the best of the bunch. And obviously, if we get the game without Megas, it's fine. It's obviously being true to that faithful remake that they're claiming it is. But if they give us Megas as well, I just feel like they're giving us like some sprinkles on top of what we've asked for. What you've asked for. So in a way, it kind of makes up for a couple of things that they may have got wrong in a sense as well. Yeah, sort of. I mean, if they give us chibi style and not everyone's too happy with it, they chuck in Megas. Yeah. I mean, are you surprised that they got the same team that did Pokemon Home to make the game, or because that was a bit of a surprise to me personally when I watched it and sat down with you originally? I think as far as the company goes, because I haven't looked into the company itself fully, I can understand their approach on handing it to another team, because obviously it's like they want to keep working on the high graphical stuff, so it's like let them carry on that path. If they was to hand over remakes to another team, I mean, we can't really complain because we're getting more Pokemon content. So at the end of the day, it's like we're getting more games. There's not really a downside to it, I don't think. I mean, obviously, everybody's been waiting for this for so long, since it's been a long time since Gen 3's remakes were released in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, technically. Are you kind of looking forward to the things they brought back, especially with, I think a lot of people were quite intrigued to see what the underground section had to offer? Yeah, definitely. I really liked the underground in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. It was just something really different to the Pokemon games, I felt. I mean, I never really got there as a kid, because Platinum was the first game I ever picked up, but never got through to that part, so I'm looking forward to experiencing that almost on a new level. I would honestly be surprised if you... I'm going to say the odds are you did get to that part, you just never went into it, because it's it's such an optional part of the game, you don't need to do it.
Yeah, well, obviously I'll be exploring that a lot more now. Are you going to be buying both, or are you going to just do the one for now? Because I'm most likely going to be buying both, as well as the next game we'll get onto a little bit later in the interview, which will be Pokemon Legends Arceus as well. But I'm definitely buying both, I feel.
For me, it's a case of if they're doing a bundle like they did the Gold Steelbook for.
Yeah.
I was literally trying to find it and hold it up. I can't even see it.
Yeah.
Like if they do something like this for Diamond and Pearl remakes with like a Dialga Palkia, then sure, I'll get the double pack.
Yeah.
If they do nothing, odds are I'll just be buying one.
Right, okay. Have you I know obviously there's not much at the moment that's giving away for the new remakes, but have you picked which one you're going to potentially get? If you were to get one...
If I was going down the one line, yep, I'll be getting Diamond.
You're getting Diamond, okay. So I'm most likely getting both anyway, regardless if they do a bundle or not. I'd be surprised if they didn't do a bundle, to be fair, because they usually do, especially now. I'd be surprised with the Switch.
Pre-orders are available. So it's kind of surprising that there isn't a bundle ready to pre-order right now. Yeah, maybe there will be something in the future, but I'm looking forward to seeing if they do, because I will definitely buy that as well. Have you got any kind of... is there a part of you that is kind of going... any future remakes of I know obviously it's a long way away down the line, especially with how long they've taken to do from 3 to 4 remakes, but do you feel like this is kind of the path that they're now going to go down for future remakes, i.e. 5, 6, possibly even 7 when the years go by, or do you reckon it might just be the case of how they've had to do it for what we're going to go into a little bit later in the interview with the new style of games that they're trying to approach with? I feel as if it's one of those areas where the company themselves have to decide, do we want to keep making these faithful remake styles, or do we want to give it a completely new look and almost recreate the region, not entirely, but in a new light for the new art style that they've been going for the last 2 games, with obviously Legends Arceus coming out and Sword and Shield. Because I feel like if they do some games like that, and they put a bit more of a break between generations, it won't upset too many people. It just depends on how quickly they can get them out and to a good quality.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking back on it now, obviously at the time, people were so skeptical of Sword and Shield, but now I look at it with the 2 expansion passes and go, they've actually done a really good job, in my opinion, of how they've actually handled themselves personally. I feel like the expansions kind of really brought the games out their shell the way they wanted to approach them, really. Especially the second one, not so much the first one, in my opinion, but the second one, yes.
If I'm going to be honest, the expansion passes was very good for the Pokemon company as a good way to just make money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because if they can sell one expansion pass to most players, because obviously the people who are still playing Sword and Shield when the expansion passes are coming out, odds are they're decent fans of Pokemon at that point, so they're gonna buy it. Then if they buy on both games, the Pokemon company is just racking in a lot at that point, and business-wise, really good. And I don't think it actually took them that much to get it out, if I'm being honest, because they had side teams working on it. Yeah,
they did. They did originally, yes. I'm pretty sure. But do you feel like they, especially with the Crown Tundra, do you feel like they did the game itself justice with how people approached the original base game and then obviously, especially with the second one, the reason I bring up the second one more than the first is because the first one's very story based. You kind of get that feel of what they were trying to approach with, and then the second one for me is kind of like, this is now what we can do with all the extras, with adding in all the legends and obviously the Dynamax adventures and things like that. And then it kind of brought it out of their shell, which is why I personally believe that at the start of it, I was very skeptical. I was one of those people, but now I feel quite comfortable playing this and going, actually, I quite like the style they've gone for. I really like the approach they've done with this. I just didn't know if you felt kind of somewhat similar, but obviously you may have some doubts of stuff as well.
That's kind of like a tough one to approach. I feel like the Crown Tundra, it had its story, but it was very, I don't want to say like quick, because the Isle of Armor did the exact same thing, sort of like lengthwise. I just feel like they could have done something a bit bigger to like end off the Sword and Shield sort of storyline that you play through a bit more.
Yeah.
Obviously there could have been like something huge, like for example, obviously Calyrex rides as like a joust. It could have like, there could have been a bigger threat, you know?
Yeah.
They could have like expanded on that story a bit more, and like, how do you defend the region from a bigger threat or something after that?
Yeah.
But the content that it brought has its ups and downs. I feel like there's a lot of unneeded environment that they created. It was just like almost like a not recreation, a new wild area to play in.
Yeah.
With like different environments, some different Pokemon, but the same idea. And they just called it half of a DLC and then added a few more features to make it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. I mean, I felt that with the first one for sure. I could definitely see that in the first one. The second one I felt a little bit like that, but not so much. But I quite like the idea of having them split into 3 stories. I think I agree with you to an extent of the main reason is they're like Calyrex and, you know, the horses and things like that. That could have definitely been expanded. That I agree with. But I quite like the fact that they've done a small story for these Galarian form of the birds, and then they've done the Regis that way. I think that's really, I think that was a really clever way of personally approaching it. But
I do feel like the new Regis could have had like some story behind them, like how did they come around?
Yeah.
We still haven't got that explanation, I don't think.
Yeah. You never know, it could be explained in Gen 9 as much as they're a Gen 8 Pokemon.
Well, yeah, I really doubt it.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but who knows? But
maybe in the anime.
Maybe. I mean, I really want to sit down and watch the anime and try and understand it a lot more. But yeah, I'm really intrigued to see if it's come out on there. But that's really interesting. I guess now we can move on to probably the most interesting part of the interview, which is going to be the new game set to come out in early 2022, which is Pokémon Legends Arceus. What are your thoughts on the actual approach that they've tried to take? Because I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not fully on board with them trying to do, because it's almost like, for me, I quite like I said, the style that they went for with Sword and Shield, like artistically, and they tried to go, like, I know people have been saying this a lot, but it's like Breath of the Wild meets Pokemon. They've really tried to go full 3D, full HD, and to me it's like, it's not going to work. Like, as much as I'm a Pokemon fan, I want it to be as realistic as possible. When I look at it now, I'm just like, the art style, just, there's a bit of me that doesn't fit it. It kind of needs that kind of approach a bit more.
It's a very interesting game that they've gone for here. I've watched so many videos speaking about it as well, so I have like a lot of points in my head that like I want to address, but
yeah,
whether it's the right direction for the company to take right now, we don't really know. Like, we'll never know until the game's out and we got people playing it to like really know if this is going to be the right choice for the Pokemon company to do, because like obviously they've made it very evident that this is their main company working on this game. Like, this is the next big game that we're getting, essentially.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like questions like, okay, so when is Gen 9? When is, I don't know, the remakes after that or something?
Yeah.
And for a game that, in my opinion, I'm gonna say it looks worse than Breath of the Wild after looking at it a bit.
Oh no, 100%. Like, I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see, because like obviously the game is still probably about a year and maybe a month away from release, if I was to guess. We just gotta wait and hope that what we thought was gonna come with this game ends up being better than what we're kind of expecting at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting approach, because for me it's like Pokemon Go, or Pokemon Let's Go, should I say, elements that mechanically that I kind of feel from that as well. They've also taken almost like a bit of a Tekken or Pokken style approach to the battle, you know, like the battle styles and the way they pick the elements and things like that. But it's like, why would you want to get into fights with specific Pokemon, you know, just randomly just going about, like they put in the trailer for the Garchomp and things like that. So it'll be interesting approach. But also they never mentioned really what Arceus really has to do with the actual story, from what I could gather. Unless there's obviously been videos that I haven't watched that kind of maybe go into it a little bit more fundamentally.
So looking through the depths of YouTube, I've come across a few things where like there's speculations to like story elements in this game.
Yeah.
Because as probably most people can gather from the trailer that they dropped, it doesn't look like there's much to, or any story involved in the game.
Yeah.
You look at the environments, you don't really see anything that like you would be able to interact with to fund the story, and it does like make you question what they're actually doing with this game, apart from it's literally an open world game. There's no story.
Yeah.
But there is a few like dives into detail. I could go over one of them real quick. It's like, you know, the character's got a logo on its arm, like it almost looks like a G.
Yeah.
There is this like theory going around that you're gonna be like the origin for Team Galactic.
Right, okay.
Because the logo is somewhat similar to Team Galactic's logo. And apparently like the story that they could run with is you're collecting the information on like Arceus, Giratina, Palkia, Dialga sort of trio.
Right, yeah.
And then in the Diamond and Pearl story, Arceus, Cyrus would be following your findings to actually get hold of these legendaries in that story.
Yeah.
So it's like a very interesting tie-in, and if they actually do end up doing that, it's going to be an interesting story. I just don't see how they're going to fully do it with the environment that they've been showing us.
Yeah, because from what you can, what you've just explained to me there is kind of a bit more. It's kind of hypocritical of itself. It's kind of like a peaceful, like as we've mentioned, kind of the style they kind of gone for Breath of the Wild. Quite as much as Breath of the Wild has got like sword fighting and things like that, it's supposed to be kind of like the peaceful environments, things like that for people, and then they've kind of gone with that approach, which I wouldn't be upset with. It's just kind of a bit weird to have that story branch with those sort of environments, or the way that they want to approach it environmentally and artistically overall. But I mean,
the game is named after the god Pokemon. Like, there has to be some sort of destruction involved in this story, to be honest. Like, it can't just be a story of get the Pokédex. Nice.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. What a good story.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, unless they have like, you can. don't really know what game it would be like, but almost where they go around and you pick up Pokemon from the Pokedex and use them to battle harder ones eventually that you would have to pick up. So it's almost like, the way I can explain it as best I can, I know it's nowhere near like this, but like, you know, where you go around games like Dark Souls and things like that, where there are just enemies everywhere, it's almost like you pick up Pokemon to fight like big bosses, but the bosses are like Pokemon, and obviously the end would be like either...
It honestly gives me a sort of like... I don't want to use that as an example because it's nothing I like, but like a normal RPG where, let's say it's like a turn-based fighting game, for example.
Yeah.
You'd have like 4 characters which you control, and they all like fight one boss in like a dungeon or something, let's say.
Yeah.
And then they all have like different, I don't know, skill classes. Like you got like warrior, archer, blah blah blah. And obviously then you could recruit other ones and just replace the ones. It almost gives me that sort of feel if there's no like PC system to it.
Yeah.
It's just get these different Pokemon in your team. This one might not be so good in the long run. You got to replace it somewhere around about here to progress. Yeah. That's the sort of feel that system gives me, but
yeah, I mean that could be obviously an interesting approach to it. So kind of almost like my final question for you would be, based on this game, as you said, as you've iterated already in the interview, like this is going to be the big game or the start for the big company. Does it give you hope for their approach going forward, regardless of looking at what games come next, whether it is Gen 9, whether it's a different approach to whatever? Does it give you hope for the future, just in general? Because obviously, I know it's a bit hard to picture now almost, but based off what we've been given, does it give you signs of hope, or are you just kind of sat in the dark? Because that's where personally I am. I'm a bit sat in the dark about it all until something happens, like fundamental, and then we can really judge that point.
Yeah, I think we're sat at like a point where we're playing a waiting game at this point. It's just we gotta wait and see what fully happens.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're gonna be given the Gen 4 faithful remakes before that, so I mean, if Legends Arceus does end up flopping, I mean, we will still have games that are somewhat relatively new. Like, if you think about it, Sword and Shield came out, nearly a year and a half ago, and we're still playing it. So, who says that won't happen with the Brilliant Diamond, Shine and Pearl?
Definitely.
Obviously, if Legends Arceus does end up flopping, odds are they probably won't make the same mistakes in the next game. So whether it's just a one-off trial for them, we'll never know until that comes around. But I think it's just time will tell at this point.
Yeah, fair enough. I get I mean, that was going to be my first question, but I've actually just thought of another thing to ask you. Was, how do you think they're going to handle shiny hunting in the Gen 4 remakes?
Gen 4 remakes?
Yeah, so going back to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl for a second, how do you reckon they're going to handle, based on what we've already got now for Sword and Shield and the different methods? How do you reckon they're going to handle it in the remakes?
I'm just going to say, I hope you asked this about Legends Arceus as well.
Okay, well, take it via Legends Arceus as well then, in that case.
Alright, so for the Gen 4 remakes, Masuda method, definitely going to be a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Odds are they might do something to do with fishing, since the original fishing mechanic is back.
Yeah.
Pokeradar might be back. I mean, if it's a faithful remake, I'd imagine it would be.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Pokeradar is, then it's... Do you know Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is that, like, deck snap thing?
Yeah, I remember the deck snap.
It's kind of similar to that.
Right, okay.
If I had to assume, I'd probably say those 3 would be the methods. And obviously soft reset if you can shiny hunt Legends and stuff.
Yeah. Do you think we'll be able to shiny hunt legends in this, or do you reckon, because if they're faithful, the only reason I ask that is because if they are faithful remakes, do you reckon they'll just go, this is a pure remake, so they're shiny locked, they're not a thing, they're not shiny hunter? I mean, we get them in Sword and Shield after all, to be fair, all three of them.
I was gonna say, I hope they're shiny huntable, just to like save them some gunfire, essentially.
Yeah.
But if they're not, personally, I'm not gonna be mad, because obviously I'll just get them in the Dynamax Adventures. But
yeah, fair enough. Well,
so Legends Arceus shiny hunting.
Yeah.
Will it even exist? That's the real question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm looking at the game, and okay, yeah, they could just do overworld shinies, but there's literally no real hunt to that. It's just full odds hope at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
If they do a shiny charm for a game that's supposed to be set in the past, that's a bit weird. Like, I don't know what they would do. Maybe it's
unless
like an old, like,
unless like somebody who is like a scientist for something is making a shiny charm.
Scientist.
Yeah, the shiny scientist. Yeah, somebody's making technology to up shiny odds, and they do it that way. But like you said, to be fair, if it does exist, I don't think I'd be that mad with full shiny odds, to be fair, if they're going to do overworlds, if it's just pure all overworld stuff. But
yeah, I don't think I'd be too mad. It just depends on like spawn rates and stuff, and how fast you can climb
I had
through.
an interesting thought in the fact that maybe they bring back the battle encounter method as well, to chain stuff if they have grass battles again as well, if that's a thing. That would be interesting way to do it, at least.
Or a catch combo.
Yeah, that could be interesting, but yeah, will it exist?
We just gotta hope that shinies are in Legends Arceus.
Yeah,
because if they're not, yeah, that's gonna be very disappointing for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I would be disappointed, but there's also another thing that I could bring up about Pokemon Legends Arceus is there's been a couple of sightings of Pokemon that we may or may not have seen before, and it may just be images that are really poorly taken, and you know, could be.
You're talking about that yellow figure.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Which could be. Well, I personally, when I saw it, thought it was like a really like weirded out Magmar, but apart from that, I can't really speculate what it is personally.
It looks very odd.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what it is. I'm not too sure what it's gonna be. Wait.
Yeah, because I thought it was just a really stretched out, poorly made Magmar, just gone a bit haywire. But
yeah, it looks very weird.
Yeah,
we'll say that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the questions I have. So thank you again for coming on and answering all those and kind of having a discussion about that. But be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Obviously, we post content on the channel every week, and you can check me out on my streams on Twitch every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. GMT. And I'll also leave a link for con streams down below as well. For him, so he's got a little bit of a plug there as well. Does loads of he does also do things like shiny hunting, and also he's a very good Rocket League player, so he does like Rocket League streams here and there and plays in tourneys and stuff. So I'll leave a link in there down below for him. But I will see you guys next week for some more videos. Take care, Chiefs. Peace. Have a good rest of your week. God bless. Bye bye.